Good afternoon, or even evening. 2 minutes past 7 here. I was astonished today. I don't know. I looked at the I looked at the odds and I thought, what the hell? These see the thing is with when I first looked at all the bets and the betting companies for when it was just before the the final. So it was just before the playoff final where Bolton lost, and I think Rotherham was about sixth or seventh. Lincoln were in the top six. Lincoln were thought of as being quite a the idea was they were going to keep on that progression that they finished with last year. And excuse the cough, I've been running. And Mansfield were thinking, yeah, they're saying they're going to spend, but they're saying they'll spend on the grounds, but they're not saying they're going to spend on the players. But they have to assume that they're going to put that they will, because why else would they do it? So when I looked this morning, I'd love to know if anybody still is on, because it's just gone back down to zero. Tell us who you support, please, because I looked on it today, and they put Rotherham from seventh up to equal second. Now, that in itself is rather odd, and if you stay on, I'll tell you why. So if you are staying on, please tell me, because it's saying you've got 0 people in. And the other strange thing is Lincoln, because if I just sort of pull it, Lincoln has dropped, and they put Lincoln somewhere down in, I think they put Lincoln somewhere about 12th, but they were in the top 6. Now, we're going to go, I wanted to go through this, but I'm only going to go through this if we've got lots of people on the actually watching, because otherwise, I'm not going to talk to a blank screen. So if you are still in, please do tell me that you're in. Please just give me a quick hello or a quick hi. We can continue. That I just wanted to get the first reasons to the initial reasons to why I just think that the betting companies seem to have just lost the plot. So if nobody's on, I'll just quickly go through it, and then I'll discard this chat. But yeah, first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14th. They moved Lincoln to 14th from about 5th or 6th. Now, the only thing that's happened with regards to Lincoln is Bolton lost in the final. And okay, that moves them from top 6 to top 6, not 13th. And the window hasn't opened yet. So how do the betting companies work? Well, they could have moved all those other people in front of them, because some people are betting on Birmingham, Bolton, Rotherham, Wrexham, Huddersfield, Peterborough, Barnsley. No, not this early on in the season. You're not going to get masses of people betting to a point where Lincoln City are thrown from sort of 5th they're quite high. They were about 4th or 5th, all the way down to 13th in the betting odds. And I just can't see. There's no rhyme or reason, because what the betting people will do is they look at whether there's any bets on it. If there are people betting on things, they can use that to make sure they don't lose money, and they will always prefer to do the bets based on people actually putting bets on that particular team. So if people are betting on it, they've then got an ability to say, at the minute, with all the money that is coming in, whether it be large or small, we've at least got the ability to give them a pre-season spot-on odds that's going to make sure we don't lose money. That's all they're bothered about, not losing money. For the majority of them that aren't, and probably all of them, who aren't actually getting bets at the minute, they're looking at last year, they're looking at where you finished, they're looking at the player scores, and they'll churn that into a computer and they'll come out with a figure and they'll come out with a rough estimate of where that team would finish this year. Now because then they've got the released players and they can remove the released players, and all of a sudden the scores that you would have had each game have changed. But they can't just use that, because if they did that for Rotherham, they only had 7 outfield players. And that would mean that they would have to be on like 100 to 1 against and in the bottom 3. So they obviously don't do that. And they don't do it because they know damn well that there's a certain amount of information coming out to you through the internet, and they can use that very nicely, thank you. So they know rather than we're going to do a splattergun approach, they've got to, because they've only got 7 players. They know that Steve Evans does a splattergun, so it will hit good players, bad players, and some in the middle. And my point from Rotherham's side is that's what they've done. So what they thought they would do and what they were told they would do when they made that initial, Rotherham were going to finish 7th, hasn't changed. So there's no reason, apart from the others that were above them suddenly doing badly or losing players they didn't expect. There's no reason for them to go from 7th to equal 2nd. So we go to the other one, the Lincoln City. There's definitely no reason why they should go from sort of top 4 or 5 down to 13th. So why would the betting companies move Lincoln City, regardless of whether you support them or not, and regardless of how you think they're going to do? They were in sort of 4th or 5th place in the betting league before Bolton lost in the final. Now they're 13th. So what's changed? What the hell's changed? Because I'm sorry, Bet365 is the one I'm losing at the minute. It's calculated. You're calculating the damned odds at the end of the season just before the final. You're doing it based on last year, the players' average scores, looking at the fact of which ones they've released and what they've got left, and you're looking at what the club is intimating they're going to do next year. Because obviously, like Rotherham, they've got 7 outfield players. If you did it just on what they got, they should have been put in the bottom 3 because they've only got 7 players. You've got to look at what the manager is putting out on the internet, and he says he's going to do a scattergun approach and get loads of players in, some good, some bad, some ugly, and he's done it exactly as he said. So with Lincoln in the mind, they haven't started anything yet, so you can't judge them on what's coming in because the bloody window hasn't started yet. Doesn't make any sense. And you can't say that the 10 teams that have moved above them, you can't say that all of those teams have had people betting on them. Not at this point in the season, not in such great numbers that it's pushed Lincoln from a pretty good 4th, 5th in the betting league to 13th. So I can't see why a betting company, a really good betting company, and Bet365 is one of the best, have moved them from the top 4, and suddenly they've gone down to 13th. I mean, I don't know what you think. Is there anything that I've missed? Am I going loopy? But why have they? It's calculated using a computer. Yeah, the average player score. the average formation, where they finished in league, and what the manager is putting out on the internet. They'll give a quick plus or minus on the computer just to say, yeah, they're going to be buying. They've said they're going to be buying midfielders and defenders, and that changes the outcome of what their odds are going to be, which they have to do with Rotherham because they've only got 7 players. Fair enough. Lincoln case, I can't see where the hell they've got the recalculation from, because nothing's changed. They haven't changed a damn thing. Mansfield is the other one, although it's not quite as predominant. Where are they? They're 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18. They put them as 17th. Now, they were a couple of places above that. They were sort of like 13th, 14th. So they moved Mansfield down. And I think, and that's the same as Lincoln. Why have they moved them down? Because they've said, in this case, they've said they're going to buy. Because they've said they're going to spend money on the stadium. They haven't said they're going to buy players. But you've got to assume that extra money going in is going to include players. Or not, but you've got to say yes or no at the calculation stage, and then you give them an odds, and you've got to wait until the start of the window opens. Surely to God, because at the minute it's like, oh no, we're not going to wait till the start of the season, the window opening. We're just going to give them, and then we're going to change it. But it's almost like somebody at the business end has thought, oh, I don't like that. I don't like Lincoln. I'm going to move them down. Because it can't be calculated, can it? Am I missing? I'd love to, please. God, talk to me. Who do you support, and why the hell have they moved Lincoln halfway down the table? I mean, I don't support Lincoln. I just find it bloody amazing that they moved them from like 4th or 5th in the odds. Bolton lost in the final, and they went down accordingly 1 or 2 places, and then they've gone down from like 5th to 13th. And I was like, but if you're using a computer to calculate the initial odds and where they are with the other teams, without the window opening, how can you drop a team that far? Because nothing's happened at Lincoln that, to me, that I know of, that means you drop them to 9 or 8-9 places. Mansfield, why have they dropped a couple of places? You can't. They said they're going to buy players, but you can't realistically drop them because I know they said they're going to buy, but we're not quite sure they will. No, you've got to stick to that, and you've got the calculation in front of you. You haven't got proof to move it. You've got to have physical proof to move it, because if you don't have physical proof, then you'll get shot by your boss for changing the odds on a whim. You've got to have physical data to say, that is what we've got from the internet. It says they're no longer going to be able to do this. So yeah, if they've lost players that they didn't expect, or if they haven't gained some massive marquee signing that they said they were going to get, then fine. But I don't see that happening. And Cambridge have dropped. Cambridge have come off the bottom. Crawley have gone onto it. Crawley were actually out of it for a point in time, and they're going to keep that striker they've got. And it's like, okay, they're not saying they're going to buy a huge number of players, but if they can keep using him, they could actually do reasonably well in the bottom 4 or 5, 6, and possibly they could have stayed out of it. Leyton Orient have come out of it. They're now sort of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16th, but they were actually in the bottom 4 or 5. So why have they raised Leyton Orient? And Stevenage, 3, 6, 9, 12, 18th for Stevenage. Now, I know that's partially because they don't quite know what loss of Steve Evans is going to do. So that's possibly a little bit different, because somebody's there thinking the internet news from the new boss hasn't been that numerous, so they can't really. And I think in that way, surely that means because he's not saying much, you can't change the score on the computer. So you shouldn't be changing the odds because there's no physical proof that it's going to change. So I'm sort of lost. I really am. I see no reason why Rotherham are being put 10-1 equal second. Absolutely no reason, because they knew they were going to use a scattergun approach and buy players from God knows which end of the league. Some brilliant, some crap, some average, and they have done. Yeah, some brilliant, one brilliant, one maybe, and sort of half a dozen that we've no idea whether they're going to be able to stand up for 90 minutes. Huddersfield seem to have taken the battering as well, because Huddersfield were in the top three, but they were clear favourites in the top three. They were sort of like well clear, and now they're 12-1 and fifth, equal with sixth place Peterborough on 12-1. And Barnsley have now gone out of that top six on 16-1 in seventh. And there's like movement that you think, but nobody's buying. Nobody's at that buying stage. Why is the betting why have the betting companies changed the odds so drastically? I mean, the Lincoln story is the biggest, isn't it? From like 4th to 13th. I mean, they were hovering around sort of 10, 11-1, and then now on like 22-1. And you think, what news have I missed? Have I missed any news? I mean, I'm asking you lot. The people keep coming in and disappearing. And I'd love to know whether you lot know something about the teams that have moved, like why has Cambridge come off the bottom? Why has Mansfield dropped a couple of places? Why has Leyton Orient gone clear of the bottom four? Certainly why Lincoln City have dropped like 8, 9, 10 places. The others are just 1 or 2 places. I mean, Huddersfield down 2 or 3. Rotherham up from 7th to 3rd, equal second. I think I'm just like, oh my God. I mean, the title's right. Oh my God, what the hell's happening with the betting companies? Because it's supposed to be calculated. It's supposed to be something you put in a computer and you get the result out the end. It's simple. Any Bert could do it. And the only thing you're going to add to it is the bloody information from the internet. Because obviously you can't put an odds on Rotherham coming down because they only had 7 players. They can't even play a game. So if you did it just on that, they'd be 150-1 and bottom of the league. I'm like, you can't do it. But they put them equal second. They moved them up. But you knew they were going to do a scattergun approach. You knew they were going to buy loads of players on the free, because they're not going to buy any. They're not going to pay for any players. They never do. How you know what their owner's like is a skinflint. He's not going to pay money for players. God no. Not if you can get them on the free. So I've had my rant. I mean, everybody before I sort of blow me nut, we're going to blow my head off. Not that they might ban me now for saying that. They probably will. They'll probably not let me upload it. Before I do finish it, not that way. What do you think? Is there anything I've missed? Am I just totally stupid, or have I got things completely wrong? I can't understand it. I really can't. I'm glad you put a thumbs up. I really can't bloody understand this one. But yeah, it's been. I looked at it today. That I've really got to do something. This is absurd. I mean, it doesn't matter who you support. It really doesn't. Even if you hate Lincoln City, you look at it and you think, why? How? There's doesn't. That's a big drop. But like, how the hell did warrant it on a computer? You would have had to have seen something on the internet, and there's nothing on the internet about Lincoln City. They've been really quite quiet. Apart from a few several fans, and I've done a League One prediction video, and the two fans that really did rant on at me was with the Lincoln fans saying that they were going to get automatic promotion. Yeah, and the Huddersfield fans are saying that we're not in financial financial risk. We've got multi-billionaire owners, and I'm thinking, and I left it alone for the first 3 or 4, and then the next one said the same thing. I said, "Oh, God's sake! It doesn't matter about how rich your owner is. The club's worth has got nothing to do with the worth of the owner. If he's willing to put half of tens of millions of pounds into the club, then it does. But if it didn't last year, why should we think it's going to be any different this year? And in which case, yeah, you've got financial risk, because the money that was going into the club went against the wall and you made stupid financial mistakes, financial risk." I lost it in the end. I waited for the first 3 or 4, I think about 4 or 5, and I thought, no, I'm going to say something. I can't stand these Huddersfield fans saying that they're a rich club and they're going to go straight back up because they've got billionaire owners. No, that doesn't make any difference on the value of the club. It's how it's run by the financial directors. That's how it matters. But yeah, the Lincoln City story is really and the Rotherham story. They're the two that's the most ridiculous to me. How the hell you move Rotherham from 7th to equal 2nd when there's nothing on the internet to say they've suddenly got better. They've gone from only 7 players to, well, they still can't put a full team out, including the bench. They still can't do it. They've done what they said when they created the initial odds, which was they're going to have to do a scattergun approach and buy loads of players, mostly on the free, because the owner won't pay for it. So nothing's changed. So why do you put them from 7th to equal 2nd is anybody's guess. And Lincoln City was the other one, which is, they're 13th now on 22-1. And they were above Rotherham at one point. So Rotherham is 7th, and they were above Rotherham for a very short period, which meant they were in top 5, and they thought they were going to do really well. And all of a sudden, they're in 13th. And like, they haven't even got opened the bloody window yet. So what scores can you put on the computer? They've not suddenly let out an extra couple of people, an extra couple of players. Rotherham looks like they've suddenly let out Lindsay as well. So they've let out had to release an extra person. But Lincoln's not really had that. So I'm just like, I was just, as we say, gobsmacked. I was gobsmacked this morning. I looked at it and I just thought, what the hell are the betting companies up to? Because it just didn't make any sense to me. I wish one or two of you would speak to me. It's gone silent. I'm closing it down in a minute and nobody's said anything. At least say goodbye. How about that? Somebody's watching and they're not even saying goodbye. No, don't get a goodbye. Anyway, you've liked it anyway, but subscribe as well. And I'm going to be doing some lives. I did lives from the champion that covered the Championship and League One last year. I'm going to carry on doing that. I'll probably sneak in a few more live. I try and get a game to watch or listen to, and hopefully I'll be doing 1 or 2 more League One mixes in that. I mean, I did a couple from the top 6, I think, but Yeah, we'll try and do a few more from around League One, and we'll try and do a nice mix of Championship and League One next year. So there'll be a watch along on a Saturday. I sometimes do a watch along on a Sunday. It usually ends up being a Championship game because they usually choose the top clubs. I mean, it'll be like Leeds will probably be on every Sunday. So do subscribe, do click the bell because you will get, then you'll be able to get access to the notifications to the watch alongs. It's good fun. It's good fun. I enjoy the watch alongs, watching the goals go in, and hopefully one or two of you start noticing the goals before me and saying, you've just missed a goal from wherever. I do try and cover. If there's a couple of games in the Premiership, I will sort of stray towards one or two of those occasionally, but I do concentrate on the Championship and League One. If anybody comes into the watch-alongs, I do, and they actually want a team from one of the other divisions, either the Premiership or League Two, then as long as you mention it, I'll try and keep my eye on. I'll keep my eye on them and keep a look on whether they score or let one in. So it's great fun. It's great fun. I enjoy doing them. Like I said, it's tended to, with the time changes and the amount of money that Sky are putting in next year, which is a lot more, it means that there's going to be a lot more coverage at like 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock. So God forbid I'm going to be knackered at the end because I'm going to be covering games from all the way from 12 o'clock all the way through to about 5-6 o'clock. So I'll see how my throat goes on the first Saturday. It's going to be interesting. So I'll love you and leave you. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm still just as gobsmacked as I was at the beginning of the day. I'm thinking, I just can't understand it. Hopefully somebody watches this and comes back and thinks, well, actually, John, you did miss something because Lincoln City have said this, and Rotherham United have said this, and you didn't realise that. And hopefully somebody's going to listen and spread some light on it. If you do, be gentle with me. Just tell me what I've got wrong, and I'll thank you for it. So from me, before I waffle on too long, because I tend to waffle on too long. Thank you all for watching, and good night and God bless. Have a happy rest of the Sunday.